One of them already. One of the caucuses.
They haven't even started meeting yet.
It's 42 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm
Local 5? I
Bob.
don't know. They don't start till 7, right?
Yeah.
KIRO Radio 97.3 FM. News and talk, powered by the
That's in
Pacific
the satellite
Northwest.
caucus, so.
Got it! All right. Wow. Exciting. I'm telling you, get out of here. How about that? How about Kansas, how about the state of Kansas, huh? Hey, Tommy, get in here.
Trey Wright, 3-jet chip
Hold
wasp.
on, I can't hear you. Chris Martin, I know you're moving up in the world. Take the volume down a little bit. Martin is a musician, and he is. Are you legally deaf, or is it just something you do? I can't understand you guys.
Trey Wright.
All right. Okay.
What a game, huh, John?
I saw the first 3 stories are all about the Super Bowl. I didn't mind. I watched
What?
I know, I didn't care. To me, when the team that I like is not in it, it's like going to a wedding and I don't care about either the bride or the groom. I mean, if I was single, I would go to try to pick somebody up.
Yes, right. The bride or the groom.
No, they're already spoken for. But you go for the drunk bridesmaid.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Yeah, but this was to me a relatively relaxing Super Bowl. I liked both teams. I didn't care who won, really. So
Yeah, you see, I value my
that's
time
the
more
ideal.
than yours.
Yeah, no, I don't value your time either.
You just sit there and just let one TV show after another wave over top of you.
No, it was exhilarating. It was fantastic, and I found myself. I decided I was rooting for Kansas City because I like.
Okay.
I like Andy Reid more than I like Shanahan. I like Mahomes more than I like Garoppolo.
Okay, all right.
But it was a heck of a game. And John, even if you didn't like football, which I know you don't,
I like football,
then
Tom.
you ought to enjoy the
I like
national
marriage.
holiday aspect.
No,
of it.
it's not a
you like
national
marriage,
holiday.
You like marriage so much you've tried it a couple of times.
You're only married a second time once, Tom. I'll tell you that right now.
True.
All right. Well, honestly, I said to Rye, that's also a thing. We don't own a television set. You're sort of at wit's end. I was like, why didn't I get invited to anything? That's the main feeling I had. Like, why isn't anybody inviting me to a party? Even Andrew, sitting behind the glass,
Yes.
separated by Dory by
Got
about
an invite.
$300,000, gets invited to Dory's party. I wasn't even invited.
Right.
Not one invite that I
Yeah.
could at least turn down.
Well-
So I said to Ryan, what are you doing? Well, I was going to watch. And I said,
Good
okay,
for
you want to
him.
go to Pine Lake Ale House?
Yeah.
Sure. So I called Pine Lake Ale House, and
Yeah.
they said, I said, do I need a reservation? They said, actually, it's the slowest day of the year for us. Nobody comes and watches in Sammamish. And there were like 4 of us in there. It was a mixed bag, I'll tell you that.
I don't understand why. Do all the Sammamish people fly to the game?
They either do that, or they have gigantic television
at
sets, and their
home, yeah,
house,
they're
they have a home
nicer.
theater in
Yes.
their home or whatever. So, yeah, Ryan, I watched, and I got a hangover today. I drank $84, which isn't hard. It's Pine Lake Ale House. That's
right,
like 3 beers.
3 beers. Yeah. Heck, you might as well have been at the old Kingdom or
Oh,
the Century
God. Anyway,
Field.
I couldn't. Ryan
So.
had chosen a table where he had a perfect advantage of the set.
Good.
Where I was seated, I couldn't because it was over my head. The one he was looking at.
Gee.
And then the other one was way on the other side of the restaurant, and I didn't have my glasses,
There
so
are only
I was
4
like,
people there. I would think you'd find a better spot for
it's
2
my son. I didn't
people.
want to move him. I'm sorry.
Well, it was a heck of a game.
All right,
and I
whatever.
found it, even though I was kind of rooting for Kansas City just because I like the coach and quarterback, I felt bad when Kansas City won because San Francisco basically plays like the Seattle Seahawks. I felt like you had that game. It reminded me of the New England game where we were ahead 21-10 and had the game in hand and then let Brady come back and beat us. It felt the same kind of way. I was like, God, in the last 7 minutes, they lost a game that they had control over.
Joe Buck calling the game that changed the game. Calling a play that changed the game for the
Yes,
Chiefs.
this is. Do we need to set this up at all?
Tom,
This
I
is-
didn't see it.
they're
I was halfway
They're 10
through
points
a
behind.
cheeseburger.
There's 7 minutes left in the game.
All right.
It's a 3rd and 15 on their end of the field.
What
Kansas
quarter is
City.
it?
This is the 4th quarter.
All right, I was
7
on my
minutes.
way home.
7 minutes left in the game. You missed the most.
No, I
exciting
watched
thing.
halfway through the Shaky Your Money Changer halftime show, and then I got on my motorcycle and went home.
Shakira and
Chiefs need some Mahomes magic. Launches down the middle. Hill open.
No wonder so many people hate Joe Buck.
Why?
I know, I just thought I'd throw that
You know,
in
they
there.
compared it to
It's not over yet.
What was like at the 50 years ago, because the last time the
Jack Buck, his dad.
Jack Buck, his
yeah.
dad was the one calling the game, and now he is.
That's what I
50
tried
years
to say to
later.
Rye. I said, look at that.
Yeah.
See that? You
Something
could
I know.
Well, no. I don't know Jack Buck, but
You don't? Jack Buck was famous.
round the horn. Do you know Jack Buck?
No.
No.
Well, no.
Chris Martin, Jack
He's
Buck.
17 years old.
Doesn't matter, Tom. Jack Buck.
I thought he was in Midnight Cowboy.
There you go.
You ask a rock musician and a guy who wasn't
I'm
born.
walking
His
here.
parents weren't even born.
But why are you making such a big deal about him? Like we're all supposed to know who he is.
No, because you just put down Joe Buck, and so I thought, that was one of the interesting connections.
No,
to
the kids
year
today all
50,
put Joe Buck down.
50 years
Keep up.
ago.
Why are they cheering? I missed it. Hang on. Gee whiz, Tom. You suck.
Down the middle, Hill, open, caught. And they get it, Kansas City, the big play.
Yeah.
Okay, now that wasn't
Nice,
a radio
Joe.
call. That's why you can't. That was a 44-yard pass.
Mm-hmm.
If the 49ers had gotten the ball there and stopped that 3rd and 15, which is a tough play to pull off, rather than that bomb, they probably would have won the game. So that was everything turned on that. He'd thrown 2 interceptions. This guy's supposed to be the second coming of Christ if he was a football quarterback. And instead, he had a lousy game until that one play, and that turned everything. The play, John, was called Trey Wright, 3-jet chip wasp.
I love the names.
The interesting thing about the great analysis in the Washington Post explaining that was set up. You know, you always wonder, why? It was 3rd and 15. How could we not stop them? This was a play they'd set up in the first half. They'd done something, and they realized, this is how San Francisco is covering it. It's what they call robber coverage. When they realize that, when we most need it, we'll go ahead and mask that play to get them to do what they did last time, and we'll be wide open. And he was wide open, and that broke the game.
Okay. Yeah, I tell you, watching with Rye, who loves football and knows all the players, since I couldn't hear and we couldn't hear in the thing, that I said, you do the play-by-play. He knows everybody. It's crazy. He knows and this and that and that. He was doing the color as well, adding in the extra stuff. Coming out of Iowa State, blah, 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 blah. He knew everybody's thing, and I was like, well, this is entertaining. I just sat there and watched him.
Well, see, that's great. And
Then I snuck him half my beer. There was nobody in there to catch us.
He's underage, right?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
In Mexico,
I
he could eat
assume beer has never touched his lips.
He loves a good cold one, I'll tell you that.
Did he stay for the game at least? If
No,
you
he
didn't?
left too.
He left too at halftime? What are you guys? You're not raising your son to be a
I
football
think he went to a
fan.
friend's house and had a
Okay.
big screen TV whose
see,
father
that's
didn't
good.
keep saying, hey, do the play-by-play.
And noticeably, not only didn't Dory invite you to his party, your son didn't invite
No,
you
he
to
left.
come over to his friend's house.
Tore out of there.
Okay.
Let's see. Kansas
The heck
City
of a game.
confusion. We're not Kansas anymore, are we? This is a New York Times sort of snappy article, I guess, going after, just basically trying to explain that, hey, we're Kansas, the state of Kansas, and then Kansas City, Missouri, and the distance between the two and what each one of them represents. And the fact, I guess they started this because the president had...
The president tweeted out right after the game, congratulations to the great state of Kansas for their big victory.
Which
And-
I have often heard the Kansas City Chiefs known as Kansas State.
Yeah.
Hey, they call it Raider Nation, right?
That's
So
right.
it's Raider Nation. I guess if he'd used Nation, it would have been all a problem. But no, in this case, Kansas.
You don't
they're known
care
as the
that
Chiefs.
your president doesn't know that Kansas
The
City's
Chiefs
in
know
Missouri.
it is a state. It is the state with Mahone and the rest of guys there doing
Anyway,
their thing.
it's another embarrassment for Trump. But
Doesn't he have an
he
editor?
changed. Yeah, well, the thing is, right away, somebody caught it after it was not a New York Times story that blew this cover. He tweeted it out, so everybody said, what the hell, don't you know? So,
Is Reed going to go to the White House? They asked him that.
oh, I don't know. I hadn't heard. I heard Mahomes is going to Disney World.
Oh, did he do that?
Yes, he did. That was the first thing. I've been waiting all my life to say this. I'm going to Disney World.
They get paid how much money for that? I forget. He gets a nice chunk of change.
Well, I think Disney World donates $1 million to a charity of his choice.
right, but I thought, okay, then he doesn't get something.
Yeah, maybe not.
We did a story when I was working in Washington, D.C. on the camera crew that has to get that soundbite.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there is honor among thieves in that other camera guys that are there know who they are and know they have to get that. So they do give him a little bit of room to let him, because it is quite the scrum of people all around him. and he's to look for guys with a certain color hat or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They turn, and then he gets that moment, and they catch it, and it's all in that moment that makes it so incredible.
So I'm assuming since you didn't watch the game, you didn't watch the post game because
yeah, Tom, I tuned in for the post game.
Well, because then you might not have said what you just said because this time out,
did he miss it?
He's on the podium. And he announces it. So they've changed that. Now, they might do another running down the field
That's a good old days.
action.
When Jack Buck was.
Now, when Jack Buck was announcing the games. Oh, remember the good old times with Jack Buck.
All righty. A lot of controversy or no controversy as far as you're concerned when it comes to the halftime show?
I've heard nothing but universal praise. I don't really care.
You don't listen to talk radio.
No. I listened to a lot of ESPN this morning, and I actually heard Gene Ursula sing its praises, too.
Yeah.
No, everybody seems to love it. The one thing that got the most attention. No, really. Who didn't?
You talk to anybody that's sort of sitting there watching this and like, okay,
why is you and your son?
No, I didn't see it, Tom. I just read what's happening on the left and the right. And on the right, they're like, wait a minute. Why are the kids in cages? What's that supposed to mean? And why is the camera taking a close-up of her rear end? And what is the significance of some of the other political things that are going on? And
so,
that's just basically...
You are out on a limb by just reading right-wing conservative take. The general take from football fans and on Twitter and everything else seem to be really positive. I listened to a whole bunch of 710 ESPN. I listened to KIRO today. And I didn't hear did Dory have a critique of it? Because he tends to come from the right.
Tends to?
Well, I didn't want to, because I'm not sure what he thought of the halftime report. But in general, it was well received.
He didn't like it, but he sounded like an old man, going, these kids with their shaking their things
with their
in sexy parts. Made me feel all weird and tingly. Thanks, men's.com.
The one thing that got people curious, I guess, some complaining, was the trill that Shakira did with her. Do we have that freaked a lot of people out. What the hell is that? And people are calling it, like a turkey gobble and all this. And it turns out that it's actually has Middle Eastern roots. She's Lebanese and Colombian. And that is, and in fact, I know that. You always kid me because I know I judge everything based on the movies. I knew that because I've seen a lot of Middle Eastern movies. In fact, American
Sniper.
Is that in American Sniper too? Because I was going to say Sally Field was in one as well, and that's a sign of excitement or joy expressed at weddings or birthdays or graduations.
Yeah.
So it was.
So the question always is why these two women? So do you have two Latino because you're sort of tipping your hat to that market, the Miami market? Yes. Or do you know that you don't get a country music guy because you don't need any of those people? They're already watching already. So is it virtue signaling, hey, look at us, we're diversified? Because a lot of black performers and rappers, and plus I think Rihanna said, I'm not doing that show after the way you treat Colin Kaepernick. Forget it. So then you end up getting these two to perform. So it's always this sort of thing. It doesn't really mean anything. It's this thing outside of the football, but it's an opportunity for the NFL to say, hey, look at us. Look who we have on stage, or Madonna, or Maroon 5. And then, people all jump all over it. I think you want to do something slightly outrageous because then your tweet matters more because then anything gets sort of pushed forward through social media. Both good and bad, all that matters is your opinion gets magnified and multiplied by dollar signs.
So I think it was very appropriate, given the setting, given that it's Miami, to have a Latina, kind of a hue to it makes a lot of sense. Uh-huh. And it got such rave reviews. One of the reasons I think, so to me, I'm interested in football. I don't really care about the halftime show, but most of the people that liked it thought, wow, it was spectacular. And why? Because there's a lot of dancing. So it's not just singing. It's not like Coldplay trying to sing a number. You've got 40 people on stage doing different kinds of, outrageous dancing and all this. So I think that might be the way to go. To me, it's not intellectual in any kind of way. It's not even culturally significant, although the people that were represented there felt that it was a sort of a cultural coming out. To me, it's what works best on a big football field at halftime. You got to go big. Yeah. You can't do kind of subtle, solos with a cello.
No, you don't think that Yo-Yo Mom would work?
So I think not, unless it's to open up a Shakira number.
Okay. Well, from where I sat,
From where you sat, it was all a blur.
Yeah, I didn't. I asked Rye. He didn't care much about it either.
Okay.
When it came to the commercials, that everybody made a big deal about the commercials, I thought it was sort of strange that we were able to play so many of them, watch so many of them 3-4 days out, that it let sort of the air out. If they had teased them a little better.
Yeah.
But I guess it's one of these things. Oh, there's that ad. Show it now because somebody might miss it in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But I've also seen that today is the day that most people then view all of the ads.
Is that right?
Yeah, then they
that's really,
share them more often. Yes.
That's really smart. It's a way to – so some of it's like we talked about a few on Friday, and I think that kind of piqued people's interest. Oh, yeah, this is the one. I remember when I was doing it. Oh, yeah, that's the one we talked about. Oh, that's what it looks like. Okay, this or that. I think they basically get 3 or 4 or 5 days of coverage on that, and that's why it might be a worthwhile deal.
How about this one?
Okay, campers, rise and shine. It's Groundhog Day. And don't forget your booties, because it's cold out there today.
Okay, question. Did you watch these ads, Chris Martin?
I can't think of anything stupider than people getting excited about
Okay.
Street ads.
Hold
Madison
on.
Avenue ads.
Whoa.
Makes me really mad.
Okay, we are broadcasting to the masses. You don't come in here with your attitude.
It drives me crazy. Did you see the ads? It's the best part of the Super Bowl.
Okay, when I go to you can't crap on the topic because then where am I going to go from there?
Well, you asked me.
Okay, but
that's right.
We're doing a show.
Hey, fake it like everybody else does.
Okay, all right, let me ask you this. Did you see, you know what, I'm bypassing you. Tracy Taylor, did you see these ads?
I did see some of them.
What is this ad for?
Phil? Hey, Phil?
No.
You spent millions and millions and millions of dollars to get you to buy this product.
It's a car. It's a Jeep.
Ah.
Hey, it's me.
Hey, by the way, Mike, stop videotaping this. This is radio, okay? Get out of here with your stupid little camera. How about
Don't
this?
worry, the sound's down.
How about this one right here?
Mr. Peanut,
Well, that's
he
pretty
spent his life bringing people together. I know he'd be happy that we are all together now.
I like the people that were mourning, right? Was Mr. Clean there?
Yeah. Mr. Clean and the Kool-Aid jug.
Yeah. I haven't seen the Kool-Aid thing since he ran through a wall.
What was that?
I'd ask Chris Martin, but I'm afraid he'd say that. Remember that? Kool-Aid running through the wall?
I do love it.
There we go. See? All right.
Fake it till you make it, Chris.
He's with me on that. All right. Bring Sean back. Tracy Taylor, what's going on out there?
A couple of wrecks we're watching on northbound 85 at 175th. This crash is